Hello everyone, my name is David Isaac and we are back with another spiritual video on YouTube. Just like the last two spiritual videos, literally no one requested this, but I'm feeling a little spicy. I'm feeling like I want to wade into some occult drama and I'm going to give my take on these things. I'm going to make a lot of people mad with this video and I hope I do because certain things need to be said. And I got a comment on this Georgina Rose, aka Dot Darling, versus Sanray, aka Order of Chaos beef. We're not going to talk about the issues I have with the Georgina Rose and Liam Christopher frame of mind. We'll leave that for another video. But I do want to talk about the Sanray's pro-chaos magic perspective on things. I want to make it clear at the top of this video, I am a chaos magic practitioner. I have done quite a bit of work in chaos magic. I've experimented with a lot of these techniques, and I've read a couple of books by Peter J. Carroll. I am not coming at this as someone who is outside the practice. What I want to challenge today is the idea that magic is for everyone. I would have agreed with this a few years ago. I'm all for spiritual and magical technologies being democratized, except maybe I'm not anymore. Maybe I'm a little against this idea that anybody and everybody should be doing this. I don't really even care about wading into the meat of the argument between Georgina and Sanray. It's watching Sanray's video that this idea comes up that magic is for everyone and chaos magic is inherently good because it's accessible and anybody can do it because the techniques are so easy. Magic has been stripped down to its bare essentials, or really the only essentials. I agree with this take that chaos magic is great because of this. I think it's really cool. I like the kind of postmodern, post-religion, post-superstition feel of chaos magic. The more atheist feel of chaos magic, if you will. But what got me on this train of thought is that Sanray brings up in the video that Georgina Rose shouldn't be spending so much time on TikTok because TikTok is a place where, or TikTok is not a place where philosophical debate is happening. TikTok is too dumbed down, watered down for that. And that may or may not be true, but regardless of whether it's true or not, TikTok is where the culture is happening. And something that has bothered me about the occult scene on TikTok is that there are a lot of videos of people teaching others how to cast curses. Circles of Power by John Michael Greer. This book talks very eloquently about how when you cast a spell for something, you are connecting yourself to certain energies on the astral plane. So when you cast a curse on somebody, you're attaching yourself to very negative energies on the astral plane. And that's why I'm starting to think that this kind of information should be a little more occulted, for lack of a better word. Yes, I know, I'm a terrible person, but stick with me here. This idea that we're gonna let anybody and everybody have access to this information, we're gonna let everybody have access to this power that is magic, and we're going to essentially, by making this information so accessible, we're basically encouraging people to dabble in it. It's like, maybe, just maybe, this is a bad idea. It's like, maybe we have to take into account that a lot of people are going to use this information for unethical things. Yes, most people are just going to use this to manifest money or manifest a romantic partner or get through some tough time in their life financially. I respect that. I've been there. I've done that. But there's obviously a large contingent of people who like the idea of casting curses. And like I've said, casting a curse, you're probably just bound to hurt yourself more so than hurt other people, but like, you can hurt other people too. And something that I just had to bring up was in Sanray's video, responding to Georgina Rose, he said, quote, "There is no way or reason to critique someone else's belief system because frankly, it's none of your business," end quote. I'm just like, what? What? It's none of my business? I'm sorry. I think if people are going around making TikToks telling young kids how to go around cursing other people. Like, I think that's my business. You know, I think that we need to get rid of this very, dare I say, liberal idea that everybody just gets to do whatever they want. Everybody's an individual. Everybody gets to just, it's a free-for-all where there's no standards anymore. I'm getting kind of sick of this. I mean, just look at our society today. We've had this very individualist mindset for the last 50 plus years, and people are more atomized and depressed than ever. Here in America, we're raised with this idea that it's a good thing that we're all so atomized. It's a good thing that we're all individuals, because then we can self-actualize and we're not held down by the traditions of the past. But as much as I like to dunk on Christianity, the traditions of the past were keeping people from casting curses on each other. You know, we're on the verge of World War III, we're on the verge of Civil War, we're on the verge of a lot of crazy stuff happening. I mean, Neptune is in Aries. And I can't help but feel like this information getting out of the bag and going as public as it has is maybe part of the problem. As I implied, I'm not a Christian, I'm a Taoist. I would like Western culture to go in a more Taoist direction, less superstition, but still a belief in the divine, a belief in transcendence, a belief in the Tao, a belief in that which cannot be named, that everything emanates from and everything returns to in the end. That's going to sound really philosophical and a little too high level and abstract for some people, but that's the direction I want to see things go. And if magic overall was helping people move in that direction, that would be cool. But I'm just seeing that magic just becomes another plaything for narcissistic people to essentially harm one another, and I don't want to live in a society like that. I want to live in a functioning society where people more or less get along and aren't introducing these crazy energies in that don't have to be there. And of course, some people are going to say that this would happen anyway. People don't have to consciously be aware of magic in order to cast spells on other people, and I do agree with that to a certain extent, but it's one thing for somebody to unconsciously cast negative magic on someone else. It's another thing when the conscious will and the power of the unconscious are directed at very negative outcomes. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I feel like I've been rambling. I don't know what else to say on this. Oh, but there is one more thing I wanted to mention. Something that Sanrei brought up, and I've heard him talk about this in other videos as well, is the idea that magic helps people through tough times. And indeed it can. However, there are a lot of people who will get through life just fine without magic. Like, I'm sorry, if someone is taught how to be financially responsible, which I know most people in America are not, but stick with me. If people are taught to be financially responsible, people maintain community, if people can fight against the tides of modernity trying to atomize us, if people can stick with community, friends, family, and be financially responsible, like, that's 80-90% of your happiness right there. You don't really need magic for anything if you can just figure that out. So my question is, why can't we just move society in that direction, or back in that direction of community, friends, family, and being financially responsible, instead of consigning ourselves to debt slavery? Why don't we just move society back in that direction, and then we don't really need magic? I mean, I'm all for, spiritual practices and people feeling more connected to the universe, but, you don't really need to do money manifestation, or you certainly don't need to cast curses on people if you're like part of a healthy community, So I think I made the point that I was trying to make with this video. I feel like there were a couple of other things I wanted to say, but I think I'm going to wrap it there, and I will see you all in the next one.